So we've got Bret Baier talking to the director of the CDC, and the first little stat here. I'm gonna hit play, and you'll see the stat, and we'll kind of figure out what's the big deal here. All right, let me try and do this without producer E today.
Evening, Bret. Thanks for having me.
You've heard those two reports, and obviously there's concern about the messaging and what's coming out. I want to put up a couple of full screens first, and they were referenced in those two reports. First is breakthrough numbers. Fully vaccinated Americans, it's a real credit that 164 million plus have been vaccinated. Of those, we're told from your organization that hospitalizations are at 6,200. That's 0.0038% of fully vaccinated. And of those, deaths are at 1,263.
Okay, 0.00077%. Okay. This is important statistics. He's outlining 164 million Americans have been fully vaccinated.
Right.
Not just talking about one shot. It's not including how many Americans have actually contracted it and now have a level of immunity equivalent to what the vaccination provides.
Right.
And now they're talking about the breakthrough hospitalizations. So these are folks that are fully vaccinated who still end up having to be hospitalized because of the virus. And of that 164 million, 6,200 of them have been put into the hospital. Okay, now that's just hospital. Now, the folks of that number who actually died from it, and the numbers for real deaths due to COVID, I question because it has not been tracked accurately in the past.
Yep, I agree with that.
It's at 1,263 deaths. So of 164 million people, 1,200 have died. I mean, there are more dying of other illnesses every single day than COVID.
Yeah, like these numbers, excuse me, if these numbers, people are panicking, they should start throwing out other numbers, and they should be freaking out because heart disease.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, why do we not care about that anymore? You know, I mean,
car accidents.
Yep, car accidents. Mouthing off to your mother. I mean, there's probably
gunfights in Chicago.
Literally, we were talking a little bit last. That's a pretty good one there, but that's probably falling off the toilet. We were talking about accidental or odd deaths.
Yeah.
That might actually we overdo this. You don't know.
Yeah. The erotic asphyxiation.
Oh, yeah.
How many was that? It was like 40 something a year.
It was in the hundreds.
Oh, it was in the hundreds.
How about this? There's a lot of people successfully doing it.
Yeah.
If there's that many that die.
Yeah.
Oh,
but
goodness.
It's true. I mean, these numbers, this is alarming to me because now the CDC is now going into this mask recommendation, which the government then mandates
for this.
And yeah, because of these numbers. And that, of course, doesn't make any sense to
Absolutely me. To nobody. To almost anybody.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's even a lot of left people that are coming out going, now, wait a minute now.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of people that got the shot due to, I'm going to be trying to be sensitive instead of a jerk about, the left here is a lot of people that voted for Biden, for whatever reason, they believe in him. And when he gets up and says, you get vaccinated, no mask, and he said it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of people said, well, okay, that's a good payoff. I'm tired of this mask because it's not doing anything anyway. So, and I think that they've been kind of duped, because now over this, you have to have a mask. Then why wouldn't they require a mask during flu season?
Mm-hmm. In a little bit, I'll kind of show you some of the Ted Cruz stuff. And, we were talking the other day, the last podcast actually, about Biden's town hall and, the messaging and why people don't trust the government or these the folks like the CDC. We're getting to that. If they would just show this kind of statistics, they go, wow, this is fantastic. You get fully vaccinated, and this is the risk.
Yeah,
it's such a low risk.
You guys won.
Yeah.
The people that put the vaccination together, this is what they wanted, right?
That's right. They wanted these kind of numbers.
This is a celebration, not a. Why would you punish people for? Boy, this just must be a failed vaccination. Then they must foresee something happening. We got to put masks on because everybody that got vaccinated, they're going to start exploding in the next 3 months.
Yeah, we're looking at more government control. I think are the issues here.
Because seriously, this should be a celebratory moment because this is. It's bad that anybody dies or gets sick, but we have to be talking about percentages here.
This interview. She does a really good job of not answering questions clearly.
Oh.
But at the end, you get a sense of really what they're looking at. So I've got another clip here. This one's kind of interesting because Bret Baier asks kind of a tough question about fear-mongering, about creating a sense of fear among the population so that the powers that be can kind of control stuff. I'll kind of play this one and see what your take is.
Are.
Dr. Walensky, you said the other day that we're just 2 or 3 mutations away from a variant that can't be defeated by our vaccines. There were some former health officials, top health officials, who found that troubling and thought it was a little bit of fear-mongering because they believe that the vaccine that we have currently, the mRNA, can be adjusted to deal with whatever variant comes down the line and can be fixed within a matter of time, and a short matter of time. Is that factual?
I think both are potentially true. I said I believe a few mutations away. The virus is smart. The virus is out to make sure that it can survive, and it is an opportunist. It will go where we are not vaccinated.
Okay, I have to stop it there.
I'm so sick of it. Sick of it.
Number one, this virus, it has no intelligence.
No, it doesn't.
It has no intelligence.
I hate it. They're not... Listen, we all might know somebody that have gotten it or know somebody that's died from it, but we look at the numbers, and even if we double the numbers, she should not be saying that to the public. That it's like, oh my gosh, it sounds like that there's like, I'm just going to throw out maybe 400 million pit bulls just released out in America, and they're just coming after us. You don't know when they're going to come get you. Just watch out. They're freaking hungry. They're smart. It's not like that.
Yeah.
And it's ridiculous because there's a lot of vulnerable people. And how about this? There's a lot of strong people, and at this point are getting kind of vulnerable. I mean, while they're going through their changes, real life of people, I feel that they're just trying to break people, and how you do it is what they're doing, just as you're discussing and how I was discussing with the small businesses and the schools and the kids. How do you break a wire without wire cutters or something sharp? Well, you bend it, and then you get it back, and then you bend it again, and you put it back. Everybody's going through the squeeze. Oh, and then notice we get adjusted. We get a little taste of freedom again, and then they squeeze them again. And when you get numbers like this, after they've done it so many times, and then they're like, "All right, man, America's weak. They're feeling it. They're trying to break us, and now they're just trying to throw mask mandates on at the lowest at a successful mission. Time to high five in their lab coats, that they did good. And I'm not for the vaccination, but this should be a win for the vaccination. And in turn, they're turning it against the vaccinated. In fact, there's no change to us losers that didn't get it. We still have to wear masks no matter what everywhere. But the people that are vaccinated, they should feel duped. A lot of people truly got it. Maybe not even because it was the scare of dying from it. It was enough is enough. I want to be able to wear, I'm a social person, and I want to go somewhere without wearing a mask. But guess what? The unfortunate thing is they're almost having to wear something anyways, which is the proof that I'm vaccinated, showing a proof ID.
Yeah.
But she has just it seems ever so subtle, but it's not. To me, it's just loud and clear that she's just sat there and tried to really put the scare in everybody.
Mm-hmm. Well, she, of course, she says that she disagrees with the claim that she's fear-mongering, but the actions that she has, that's what it is. She's creating a scenario here where even if you get vaccinated, now with the Delta variant, it's now this scare, and we should scare people into wearing masks again, instituting these other rules so that the fully vaccinated won't catch it and then won't transmit it to someone who is unvaccinated. Well, it drives me absolutely crazy because this is the kind of messaging that people are getting upset about. Yes, you can get vaccinated and then you don't have to wear a mask anymore. You can go back to life as normal. Well, no, because now there's this new variant. Let's go back to mask wearing. The messaging keeps changing, even though studies have shown the folks who are vaccinated still are protected against major illness if they contract the Delta variant.
Too much.
So one of the last podcasts that we had, where we were talking about COVID, we couldn't really figure out what the end game was. And then eventually things started opening up, the mask mandates started to fall away, and it was like, okay, maybe things can get back to normal. Maybe the end game was really just seeing the numbers flatten out. Of course, that's not the case. We're back at it again. We're again presented with having a mask mandate. The K-12 education, even though they're not a vulnerable population, the vulnerable population in our country right now have pretty much all been vaccinated anyway. I don't see the danger anymore. Who cares about how contagious it is if the illness that you suffer through afterwards is very light?
I feel that we should celebrate, and I know that people are still going to get sick and people can still die, okay? But I think we should celebrate that we have successfully fought COVID to the best that we will ever be able to fight COVID. Mm-hmm. Just like we can't kill off the flu forever. And so we always, have to, they want to keep up. People could live with it and keep going. And so I think they've done everything they can, and we should be proud of, the massive leaps and hurdles they had to do to produce things that could help and to come together as a country or a world to make it happen. But they've got to understand now that it's out there. It will be out there, but it's just minimizing, taking personal steps to minimize it, just like when it's flu season and I'm walking down the store and I see somebody's kind of wiping their nose and coughing. I'm going to just kind of step over here, or I'm going to make sure I wash my hands a little bit better, especially, just a little bit more. You're just going to have to do that. I mean, I feel like this should be a celebratory time, and we should be happy about it and still feel bad for the people that have had gotten it and might get it, but
we shouldn't.
How about
fear
this?
it.
We shouldn't fear it. And how about this? Where's the mournings for all the people that had died of the flu in the past that nobody seems to care about? All the deaths from that, or anything else for that matter.
Okay, let's wrap up the show. Does that sound good?
Sounds good.
All right. Thanks again for listening to the show. If you don't mind, spread the word. Let folks know that we're doing the podcast. We'd love to grow the audience. You guys can always reach out to us, mailbag@nevertooserious.com. You can also follow us on our Twitter and Getter feeds. Those, I think we're at the NTS podcast.
Okay.
Shout out to a few of those who are following us there. Oh, you know what? Shout out to Robbie at the Out of the Blank podcast.
Oh, nice.
He's reached out to us a few times to get on his show, and Dave's schedule is a little bit
it's
more
terrible.
rough
My schedule is terrible.
But Rob's had me on his podcast and some good conversations. So shout out to you, Robbie. It's great to kind of have this connection through our podcast. So. All right. Well, until we see you next time, take care.
And be safe.